Council, the sit in Norfolk can now commence. Mr. Roberts, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. Good afternoon. I would like to provide a brief overview of the proposed agenda for your work session meeting this afternoon. I would like to begin by asking if you would modify your agenda to include an additional presentation from Nathan Sims, Executive Director of Norfolk Redevelopment Housing Authority. You may recall in mid-June, we notified Council of a planned charrette or design workshop that's being hosted and facilitated by NRHA next week. This focuses on the long-term redevelopment plans for Calvert Square and Young Terrace housing developments. I've asked that Nathan provide just an overview of the planned charrette activities for the 4 days and also describe the overall approach to that project and answer any questions. Following that, Police Chief Mark Talbot will provide the first part of a public safety briefing focused on mid-year efforts of the police department and a progress report. The second part of that presentation will be an update on the city's community violence intervention efforts, and that's going to be presented by James Rogers, Deputy City Manager. The final presentation will be your city planning update. Mr. Tahan, Planning Director, will provide that information. We do have one item that requires consideration of a closed session motion. So without any objections and with that amendment, I would like to call up Mr. Sims, Executive Director of NRHA, to provide a brief presentation.
Without objection, welcome Mr. Sims.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will be brief. No, that's a lie. Good afternoon again, Nathan Sims, the Executive Director of Norfolk Redevelopment and Housing Authority. I wanted to provide to the council and to those in the room an update in terms of Young Terrace and Calvert Square, the transformation efforts, and take whatever questions you may have at this time. I just want to give a little bit of a timeline in terms of how activities have flowed. We issued a solicitation for a master developer back towards the end of January. We then advise on a frequent basis the St. Paul's Advisory Committee. We hosted tenant meetings with the leadership, the tenant management corporation of both Young Terrace and Calvert Square in February. We had a resident forum that was over at the Scope Exhibition Hall back in March. We did a number of stakeholder interviews. We've had additional meetings with the residents, as you can see, that led us all the way up to a developer presentation back in June, which seems a long time ago, but just last month, where we had 3 developers who were shortlisted to give a presentation. We then commenced a brief site visit to the 2 finalists, which involved trips to both DC and Baltimore. And from there, we did a developer selection. I want to highlight just a couple of different things. Certainly, we worked with a lot of our city partners and agency heads as part of this overall effort, but we will continue to do so. The other piece is the 4-day charrette, as the manager indicated. So that's coming up the 14th through the 17th, which is next week. And so the rest of the schedule to follow in terms of community engagement, plans to really engage the Planning Commission, and certainly a master plan submission. So part of the process, as you know, is very resident driven and heavy. And so we've done a number of different things to collect feedback from the residents. And so we've done a number of different types of surveys. We've done group survey sessions where our team has gone out in various hours of the day to meet with residents. And so that's been, it's been received very well. And, you know, in a space where sometimes people feel a little apprehensive to provide feedback to us, we've created safe spaces for them to do so that we can incorporate their thoughts. So we selected, as part of that process, we selected the Gilbane Development Company, which is headquartered out of Rhode Island. They have a number of offices on the East Coast and in Texas. They have extensive development experience. And as you can see, the number of units that they have developed, over 25,000, and fostered about $11.8 billion in development. So let me talk about the charrette. So I'm not French, but charrette is a French term. What essentially it means is really kind of a collection of ideas and thoughts. We've done something similar, obviously, in terms of the redevelopment of Tidewater Gardens. And so certainly we would do the same here. But it's an opportunity over the 4-day period to gauge from stakeholders such as yourself, residents, community stakeholders, feedback in terms of what they'd like to see as part of the design. So we're pretty much excited to be able to see that. So this will be a little small for you to see, but we'll provide this. But this is really the time frame for the workshops. So we do have a number of opportunities in the morning and the evening, all day, for folks to come through. We do provide dinner in the evening for those who want to stop by on the way home to be able to give their feedback and give their time. But it's a pretty aggressive and pretty heavy time frame of activities for folks to give their input as well. And so we're excited about that particular piece. So obviously next steps of the process is the charrette, 14th through the 17th. It'll be at the Murray Center at 455 East Brambleton Avenue. It'll be open from 8:30 to 5 p.m. for the design work session, which is open to the public. Public presentations each day. There will be kind of refinement of the process. So there'll be public presentations from the 14th, 15th, and the 17th. And with that, I'll take any questions you may have. Sure.
What federal program that you're going to use for this redevelopment?
So we're looking at a number of different federal programs to be able to tackle this. One we've done in the past, obviously, is Choice Neighborhood. It's different times at the federal level. So we're trying to figure out, while there was funding appropriated based on the continuing resolution some months back, we haven't received an indication that there will be a funding round offered before the end of the federal fiscal year, which is September 30th. We're also looking at a number of other resources that is provided by the Defense Department for infrastructure purposes and other related things to redevelopment as well.
So second part of that, have you identified what agency? So it may be HUD, it may be Defense.
Yes.
But you have not narrowed down.
We're keeping all options open. So it's a wide array.
And have you begun visiting Washington, making the phone calls and doing the intergovernment relations stuff?
Yes, we've done a little bit of that. I got you on standby, ready to go. But I'm trying to get a good indication in terms of when that will happen. So the funding amount for CNI is a lot different. It's $75 million. The last round, which was rolled from another round, was about $345 million. So, you're really talking about maybe one award and some supplementals to other surrounding other jurisdictions who have existing awards. So we're trying to figure out that.
Last question.
Sure.
Is your TMC engagement with the Tenant Management Association group?
Mm-hmm.
I guess surveys and interviews and just conversation, the data that did any guiding principles, any themes emerge?
Yes.
Is that something that you're going to share eventually?
Yes.
Because when doing these charrettes,
Yes.
The charrettes are a bunch of buildings and dreams and possibilities, but from the guiding principles, from the people, from the tenants, what do they say as it relates to their needs, community needs, and what do they say about economic feasibility? What do they say about sustainability and historical accountability and all the things that will come out of those types of engagement?
So there's more information to be gathered, but in the short term, it has been around about being connected to economic mobility type of activities that help in terms of financial literacy, education, workforce development training, and things of that nature. Certainly from a design standpoint, areas that are not prone to flooding, accessibility, and so green space, of course, and other areas for public space.
Hopefully reflects that, and that it's just some charrette that some developer, Gilbane, whomever, did somewhere else and just plotted here. I want the charrettes to speak to
Correct.
to this community and from the guiding principles that
That has already been set. Absolutely. That's the importance in terms of making sure that the residents participate as part of this, because it is not just a, hey, we did this here, we're going to drop this here. This is all from the roots, ground roots, driven from the resident engagement and stakeholder engagement process, not a top-down.
Keep that centered and keep that focused.
Yes, sir.
All right. Other questions for Mr. Page?
Yes, thank you for your questions, Mr. Mayor. The big concern that we've talked about it personally, but just now, in front of everyone, is ensuring that the residents that are living in those areas now that want to stay get the first right of refusal going into those new places. Could you explain to us a little bit about your plans and why you're doing it the way you're doing it to ensure that it's not as intrusive as it could have been with the process that's happening?
So, we are deploying a Build First strategy, which means that we have an off-site development that we would focus on first, while at the same time being able to assess and work with the residents in terms of what their needs are and how to position them. Some individuals have never really been presented with opportunities. So when presented with set opportunities and the proper support, where can they go? And I don't mean from where you lay your head at night, but where can you go in life? And so we're working through a number of partners to be able to do so, to connect them to those opportunities, which is available now. And we will continue to be frequently in the streets, knocking on doors, to really work with our residents to connect them to that, because we see that as a real important piece. Obviously, the design will be the design, and there will be a lot of decisions that will have to be made in terms of how that looks and what support it at the end of the day. But in the short term, we want to work, short term and long term, we want to work with the residents to help them move forward.
I know the design and the developer may have some concepts and some ideas because it's insurance plan, but please lean on Bobby and
Yes.
architecture review and,
Absolutely.
and local architects
Yes.
so that we capture Norfolk
Yes,
because it has to go through some processes.
absolutely.
And I don't want the developer to get stuck. So start very early with planning
Yes.
and architecture review before they get too far down the field and get sacked.
We are joined at the hip.
I just want to commend you for you and your team for what you did with the land that was owned by a longtime citizen building. It's been very historical to us in the city of Norfolk. The cleaners that was there on the corner. The fact that you came up with a public-private partnership that allows for that family to still hold on to their equity in the city. I thank you for that.
Sure.
Ms. Doyle, then Mr. McGee, I see you jotting something, but Ms. Doyle, I'll start with you.
Mr. Mayor, I think you made a good point early on to identify the funding sources that would go towards this, because as you know, the city generously funded, and we wanted to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
The St. Paul's project.
Yes.
But that was with other funding streams very much aligned to the work, so we need to make sure that we're in sync on that.
Yes.
And tell me what the end product will look like. Will there be homeownership, rentals, housing, mixed use, commercial, retail? What is it going to look like?
All of that. I can't tell you what it's going to look like at the end of the day. I can tell you what guiding principles we've gathered. We've talked to a lot of folks in this room, a lot of folks in the communities, and so I think downtown is very much primed for a lot of different types of uses, and we want to explore all of those various types so that it's very much catalytic. And not only are we replacing public housing, the existing public housing units, but we're opening and unlocking really the site potential to serve other constituents within Norfolk, so we can help relieve the pressure in terms of the supply gap.
We just need to be very clear. When St. Paul's was introduced, it was clear as to what was going to be happening at the end of the day. And I just don't feel that same clarity right now
Sure.
with this project for both of those areas.
I can't tell you. I mean, I would agree with you, but I also would be remiss I wouldn't be in my job if I said, well, I knew exactly what it was and I didn't get your input. So we're not at that point right now. We're just we've been organizing the pieces together for this moment, so that we can get the collective feedback so that we can come out with the best design as possible. Councilmember Doyle, there is no one in this organization or in this room and Steve will tell you, that spends time trying to figure out money sources than me. So when I tell you I've identified a number of different sources for us to go after before even touching city assets. I have. And I'd be happy to share that with you. I'd be happy to sit down with everybody to figure out how do we pursue that.
First of all, thank you for being here,
Sure.
Nathan. I'm curious if you could just tell us a little bit more about the timeline and deliverables beyond the charrettes that are ahead.
So the timeline beyond the charrettes is really to gather that information, to really kind of work to put at least a draft plan together. From there, certainly we'll start having conversations at the appropriate level. So working with planning, working with DACD, working with the other agency departments, DCM Beaver and his whole team, and DCM Pope as well, pretty much all the city government, right? So nobody should sleep this summer. And so we'll work to make sure that it is inherent and is very clear to everyone in terms of what is expected, how we can move this forward and figure out, what the funding looks like, but also what the connectivity looks like, what the feel of the community looks like. So we really want to work to make sure that we get that consensus.
And I would encourage you to try to keep the council up to date in
Yes.
that part of the process.
Yes.
And please be direct with us in terms of how we can engage. If you want us at these charrettes, if
Yes.
that's our opportunity to engage, please
Yes.
make that clear. If there are other opportunities, please let us know how
Sure.
we can be part of it.
There is maximum opportunity at the end of the day. I've been very clear in terms of either meeting with folks individually or as a group. I am available 24 hours a day. I think a lot of people know that, and to the people who are watching, I am available 24 hours a day. Just don't call me at 3 in the morning. But we're here to figure out to get that degree of feedback, either through a consensus or individual, so that we can get to a consensus format. So I'm with you.
Mr. Thomas, then we're going to go to Ms. Johnson, then maybe with Mr. Smith.
The only thing left on my kind of comment list would be, we've learned over and over again that neighborhoods that include concentrations of poverty
Yes.
are horrible places for children to be raised.
Yes.
So as we come up with this plan, please make sure that the mix of incomes in this
Absolutely.
neighborhood benefit those children who need the help.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Ms. Johnson.
I think that we need to be looking at, when we're talking about public housing, the residents who live in public housing is all of council's responsibility.
Correct.
It is not just one ward, it is all of our wards because it impacts the entire city. And as an elected official, the residents are my responsibility as well.
Absolutely.
So with that said, I would like to have regular updates on what's going on because although you're coming here this afternoon to give a presentation, you're blindsiding us. Well, I can't speak for all of the other councilmen. I'm saying me.
Sure.
You're blindsiding me because my residents who elected me, they are just as concerned for the residents who live in public housing, just like any other resident in the city. And they want to see all the citizens succeed. So when information is put out last minute, or there is a lot of talk that's going on as far as Calvert and Young is concerned, and we haven't finished Tidewater Gardens, that's another concern for me, is that we need to get into the habit of finishing projects before we start other projects, because it impacts the entire city. What is the council's responsibility as far as these proposals that you're bringing before us? I need to know that. I would like to know that because it impacts every neighborhood in this city. We have projects that are in our communities that have been waiting. We went through a pandemic, so we're still waiting on getting supplies and things that are needed to finish the project. But it also impacts our budget. as far as serving our communities.
Yep.
The other thing that I want you to be aware of is my concern of where the people are going to go, the residents and public housing. Last time we said that we were gonna build housing while the new project was being worked on. Well, somewhere in there, it got a little mixed up. So then what happens to the residents? They are placed into neighborhoods. And here's my biggest concerns. They are placed into neighborhoods, but they're not prepared to live in the neighborhoods. And they end up not being able to stay in the neighborhoods. It's not that people don't want them there. We want them to be prepared to be successful, to live in the neighborhoods. And I think that focus needs to be placed on that because, again, what is happening is concentrated poverty. You're shifting concentrated poverty from one public housing to another public housing project, and then you put them out into the city, and they're not surviving. That deeply concerns me, that they, for whatever reason, are being put out of where they live. So then that means our eviction rate goes up, and they're not prepared to come into the neighborhoods. We have to prepare the whole person, not just where they live, but the entire person to be prepared to be successful. So I have a list about 10 questions that I will submit to my city manager, and my city manager can then relay it to you because I need some answers.
So I can provide some short-term answers to what you said. One, we have not started any movement of any staff. And I would tell you personally, as somebody who's been here 19 months, I have been very vested in seeing Tidewater Gardens or Kindred get over the finish line. And I've done more than my fair share to be able to do that, and our staff has as well, and it will. I think what you outlined is the exact same reason why we're working across our entire portfolio, not just focus on one community to move people from one place to another. You can transform poverty in a lot of different ways. One part of transforming the poverty is connecting people to services. Doing the bill first gives us a chance to connect them to set services. And so that you can change someone's income by the chance of a job, a certification, a trade. So that's one way to do that. The other part, I think, is working to see other developments and other things to connect them to that opportunity. But you're right, if we don't change individuals' mindset, we've only given them a new unit. And so to change mindsets, we do have to work with them early. We are working with them early now, and we will continue to do so. Remember, our people's side of things is extended not just into Young and Calvert or Tidewater Gardens. It's in Dickstown, it's in Oakleaf, it's in Grandy Village. So I share those same things. I'm not that harbinger of moving things around, but I do think we have to kind of, say, okay, we can't put a period behind it. We have to say a comma. What are we prepared to do about it? From our perspective, what we're prepared to do about it is engage residents with services and opportunities to move forward in their lives so that if they choose to live in our communities, that's one thing. They don't have to, right? Some people have to because they have no other options. We want to get people to a place where they have options.
And lastly, as far as your statement with Tidewater Gardens, that is a model for the city of Norfolk,
Sure.
for Hampton Roads, and for the state of Virginia. What is happening in Tidewater Gardens? It is. We did a good project. As far as engagement, you have to get the citizens, not just the residents, the entire city involved in what you're trying to do.
Sure.
Because they have many questions and they want to see the success
Sure.
as being a part of their city.
Sure.
It's not just about public housing residents. It is about all citizens. It is about all citizens in the city. So I would like to see that. And again, I'll send my questions over to the city manager.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, I just want to make sure at the end of the day that we know what costs this is going to be to us. When we voted on St. Paul's, that we were given an amount that we would have to invest in, and there kept on being other things that we had to add to it, at the expense to the rest of the city and other places that also need that money and projects. So we need to raise the standard of living. It will help folks. We've got a good record of doing it the right way with Kindred and how that's working. I've been very impressed with seeing the progress on that and the work that Dr. Perry and her folks have also been doing, just continuing that. It's just a matter of, once again, it's like MacArthur Mall when that was purchased, and then all of a sudden now it's going to be another expense and another expense, and millions of extra dollars that were not budgeted or planned are then taken away from other parts of the city. And so I just want to make sure we have upfront costs, our responsibility in this. And if you tell me we won't, I won't believe you, because I know we will. I am concerned moving forward with this project with the current state of the federal government and how that's going to play in this. So Congressman Scott has been very great to finding additional funding in the budget for this. I don't know how much success he's going to have in the future with that. So, but I think it's good moving forward to the next steps and just continuing to do it the right way. And I think this plan in involving the community, if people show up to it, that's the other thing too. When we did this last time, there were charrettes and nobody came out to it, and then they said we didn't involve them, that nobody involved them. And so I hope that there's been really good advertising for this in the community to make sure people know about this. And it looks like you've got some flexibility in your schedule.
Yes.
I'm not understanding you don't have something on the 16th, but at the top it says July 14th through the 17th that you have daily. So are you still doing a daily 8:30 to 5
Yes.
on the 16th, just not the evening
Correct.
program? Okay.
Yes. Councilmember Smeagol, I would be remiss to say I've been waiting for this moment to have this conversation with you, because I too looked at a prior recording from 2011 and 2012 when a strapping young new council member came on board and said in terms of the things that were happening in East Beach, that we know these things are happening and yet we need to begin to plan. Well, sir, this is what planning looks like, right? And so 3.5 years from now, there will be a new administration. Our work positions ourselves for all of that. Yeah, there's a lot of things behind that, but we're going to say on paper, 3.5 years from now, we'll have a new administration at the federal level. Not at all. Everything's good. Yes, sir.
From the council, we're concerned, we're your partner, we want to be engaged. I would ask that you would lean on Dr. Susan Perry
Yes.
and her staff
Yes.
and the city manager.
Yes.
Don't let it go unnoticed
Correct.
that the CNI was awarded to us under Trump
Current
1.
administration. Yeah.
Trump 1. And that's because we went to Washington.
Yeah.
And everyone told us that it was not going to happen. Dr. Perry and I didn't believe what the naysayers were saying. We went, knocked on doors, invited HUD Secretary to Norfolk, Dr.
Yes.
Ben Carson. He
Yes.
physically came to Norfolk.
Yep.
Dr. Perry actually packaged everything together and said, I'm sending this to the secretary. And I said, I will give him a call. And all he said was, Mr. Mayor, thanks for calling. It's going to be great. And I didn't know what that meant until we got the award. So use city staff.
Absolutely.
Use city staff.
Yeah.
Use city staff. And let's go. Let's go. We don't have 4 years for the plan.
No.
So we're going to do it. We're going to do this in this administration.
Absolutely.
So let's get it
And
done.
we're going to be cost effective about it.
All
Yes,
right.
sir. Thank
Any,
you.
Mr. Manager, anything you want to say?
No, sir, that's all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sims.
I yield the rest of my time back, sir.
You don't have any time left, sir.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks.
All right, is it Chief Talbot?
Yes, sir.
Chief,
Police
what-
Chief Mark Talbot has the next presentation.
Got it.
Good afternoon. So I'll be presenting our public safety update for the first 6 months of the year. Here's citywide crime statistics, some things to note. Right now, we're at a 40% reduction in homicides, 36% reduction in rapes. Robberies up slightly from last year, but down from all previous years. We have 5 years worth of data here. Aggravated assaults are up 3% this year, but down from all prior years. Violent crime overall is down 3% and at its lowest levels we've seen in the last 5 years. Property crimes are down 16% overall. Seeing a little bit of an increase in burglaries, largely driven by non-residential burglaries, storage facilities and sheds, that sort of thing. All types of larcenies are down, which is something that we haven't seen since the pandemic started, so we're finally starting to move those in the right direction. Of note, stolen cars are down 41%. We're currently at 263 at the time of that we pulled these numbers. We were at 448 last year and 872 by way of comparison in 2023, so down significantly. Oops. There we go. They're all January 1st through June 30th is You're welcome. This chart shows the citywide crime. We are 33% down from 2022, so still trending in the right direction. This is property crime, shows a 32% reduction from 2022. And then violent crimes are down 39% from 2022. Here's gun violence data. So this year we're down, as you can see, in all categories. Shooting-related homicides are down by 1 from last year, and the total gun violence, both person shot and no person shot, down a total of 8% from last year. Here's 2 and 5 year comparisons. As you can see, if you compare our numbers year to date to 2023, 31% reduction in homicides, a 65% reduction in non-fatal shootings, and a 54% reduction in overall gun violence as compared to 2 years ago. And then a 5 year comparison is even more significant, down a total of 70% from 2021. Recruitment and retention. What's worthy of noting here is our retention rate is currently at 7.04%, which is the best retention rate that we've seen since 2018. We have a few things in place that are moving the retention rate in the right direction. In terms of recruiting and retention, we have our wellness program. We've talked about some of these things before, but we have our wellness program. new uniforms that we've outfitted the organization with, the officer referral program, which you all put in place in 2021, has been our most effective recruiting strategy. Skill Bridge, which is our connection with the military, has been one of our mechanisms, and of course, social media has allowed us to reach more candidates than we would otherwise. And of course, the NPD Jobs website, we streamlined the hiring process, and we've enhanced our lateral program so that we can bring in police officers interested in coming from other jurisdictions, which we have seen some increased interest in that as of late. The new compensation program is going to be a very important factor in us staffing the organization. That's gone over well with the rank and file, and we believe it'll go over well as it relates to bringing new police officers into the organization.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
We've already notified everybody that that's going into effect, and they know how much they're making on October 3rd. Has that been?
I don't know that we've notified every individual employee of the exact amount of their pay increase in October. HR is doing departmental, so each department by department briefings with staff to describe how the plan is being implemented, what the pay plans look like, how the steps work. I think the plan is at some point between now and the fall to send individualized notices with what the effective salary will be in the first week of October.
Some selected updates here are real-time crime centers fully staffed at this point. Includes a sworn member and 2 professional staff members. We have 4 teams of 3 operating about 20 hours a day. It runs from 7 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the morning. Right now we have 242 registered cameras, and we're increasing that, and we have more than 2,600 integrated cameras. We've also expanded our community partnerships. We took over. Yes, sir.
When I took a tour of it, which was great to see that, we were about 2 weeks away from adding traffic cameras into the system. How did that migration go? Did it happen?
I'm not sure if we fully. Yes, I am sure that we've integrated.
I know there's some issues with some of the traffic cameras, but I think it was going to add about 60 or so cameras into the system. So just wanted.
I'm told that we're good to go,
Okay.
but I'll verify that for you. We took over E911 in March of 2023. Some of the work that we've done there, the vacancy rate has gone from nearly half of the allotted positions were vacant. Now we have about a 20% vacancy rate. Call wait times are our biggest challenge and the most important thing for us to get right in E911. It started back at that point, 46.1 seconds on average. We're down to 33 seconds and trending downward. Some of the technology that's helped us advance things, the ASAP to PSAP, which is technology that allows us to answer alarm calls in an automated fashion. Rapid SOS is something that allows us to identify the location of the caller more effectively than we could previously. And Amazon AI is a cloud-based system that allows us to triage and deal with non-emergency calls a little bit more quickly and efficiently than we could in the past. Some of the operational and leadership adjustments related to recruitment and onboarding that's helped us staff. You all have offered compensation and staffing incentives that have helped, such as double overtime. And we've made some leadership changes there as well in terms of how the folks are getting treated. You're welcome.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief. Amazing on the screen. And it's good to see that the numbers are coming down. But you know, as I know, when you're the population that's being impacted, whether it's down 30, 40, 50%, or you're that one individual that's dealing with the agony of a gunshot wound and the trauma associated with it coming back. I had a couple of things that I think will work good, and Mr. Manager, I want you to hear too. The biggest being, we need some type of threat awareness in some of our most volatile communities when we have heightened things going on. And Chief, I've seen things get put in your wheelhouse, so I don't think this is an in your wheelhouse situation where the police should pick this up, but we would need information from you for the city manager to get something established so we could actually keep citizens safer by making sure they're aware when we have these incidents that are going on as the ones that we have going on now between different communities, so citizens would just be aware and could make better decisions on how to adjust and how to deal. That might be something that helps us get the numbers down. I commend your leadership. It's a different field when you're out in the community, and the way that the department is represented and the way that things are happening. But in any organization, we're still going to have challenges. For instance, the situation that happened in Calvert Square on the Juneteenth celebration with Cameron and a new officer that was hired from another city. And citizens still asking for a citizen review board. I think it's something that would work very well, to help keep the officers safe and to have more partners that understand the business of policing and more police officers that don't know that understand sometimes the views of the citizens, so we could have ways that we could overcome these challenges and not break the strides that have been made under your leadership. So I just wanted to put that out there about the Citizens Review Board. I know that's not completely on you. Again, coming back to the city manager to see what type of steps. We've made some statements to citizens that these things would come at some point in time, and then we've had no more dialogue.
Thank you, Ms. Page. Any other questions for Chief? Ms. Johnson, yes.
Chief, thank you for the presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say what I saw with your graph and your numbers is it showed areas that we made strides in.
Yes, ma'am.
It also showed areas where you and your staff plan to work on a little more. But mostly I appreciated your strategies to address crime, recruitment, and retention. That's very important for our citizens to understand that those are your priority.
Yes, ma'am.
And you showed those on the graph. There are many of your citizens who are very interested in not only the crime, but the recruitment aspect as well as the retention. And I will close with this. Thank you so very much for changing those uniforms, because when I see MPD in those old uniforms, it makes me hot too. So thank you. I'm sure it has made a great impact. Something that small has changed their lives, so thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mr. McGee.
First of all, thank you for the update. More importantly, thank you for all the hard work that's driven these numbers down. A lot of things to celebrate, a lot of things to be proud of in this update. Also want to thank you for my tour of the Real-Time Crime Center. Very impressive operation, and so I appreciate the opportunity to see that in action. 911 staffing, so you gave us some updates. It seems like we're making progress there. I think the update you gave us at the beginning of the year was that you hope to get that fully staffed by the end of this year. Do you feel like you're still on track with that?
We are still on track. That profession in particular has a very high turnover rate. So, and it also has a high rate of stress and trauma associated with the work. So we will be fully staffed. It may be briefly, frankly. So our challenge is to both get there and to continually monitor the vacancy rate and the retention rate to make sure that we're incrementally improving the amount of time that we're keeping our professional staff members here.
I encourage you to please keep us posted if there's anything we can do to help with that.
Yes.
And then the final thing, you know you're not going to get out of here completely unscathed. So the one thing that unites every neighborhood that I represent is continued concern about speeding and traffic enforcement. So is there any data you can share in terms of is the trend line there improving, or the efforts that we're putting in place effective? And then also, where are we in terms of staffing that division?
So we are moving in a positive direction. We'll include the statistics related to traffic fatalities, accidents, the damages that are incurred in traffic collisions. We have become much more data-driven, which has allowed us to move into a place where we're much more clear about where we need to focus our attention. And we've increased the mechanisms that we're using in different areas of the city to reduce the harm caused by bad drivers. You're welcome.
Okay, well, Chief, I think that's a wrap. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
For the second part of this presentation, I'll ask James Rogers, Deputy City Manager, to come up and talk about our efforts and progress in community violence intervention.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members, City Manager. Good to see everyone again. And again, I wanted to provide you with an update as to where we are with community violence intervention. Also, before I even get into this conversation, I want to give you a bit of context, if we can. We really are looking at this. Matter of fact, many of them are here today, the folks who actually do that work on the ground with Community First. They can raise their hand. But again, those are the folks that are on the ground doing this work every day. And they do it in a fashion that, again, is really engaging and talking and caring about the neighborhoods and the neighbors that they reach. I wanted to give you a bit of context before I just share this up. If all you can remember is during the pandemic, we had urban centers just in general throughout this country had experienced an uptick in levels of violence, particularly firearms. And so again, that's how we got to this discussion. As a matter of fact, I see Susan Perry. Did she leave? Anyway, all of this, matter of fact, was a conversation this council had along with the SPAC, or the St. Paul's Association, advisory committee, whom you folks are actually, and what they were looking for is they said there's got to be a different strategy that we can use besides just policing. And so one of the things they look for, and they actually met every week to go over this and how we could do this, and they actually put a committee together to find this out. And so they actually, one of the police, Captain Pate, actually said, look, I've heard of he was from Newark, not Newark, but he's from New Jersey, Camden, and he heard about the Newark Community Street Team and their way of how they were policing, or actually having what we call a collaborative, engaging policing strategy. And so what they did, again, is they actually hired folks that are from those communities, just like we've done here, who are embedded in those communities. They touch them every day. They're in those spaces every day. And so, again, that's how we got this conversation started. And really, what they were looking for was to put the public back into public safety. They wanted to have a role in how they are engaged in their community. Again, the chief and his staff just doing a fantastic job. I keep teasing the chief. I play a policeman on TV or something, but I see him every Thursday and his team, and they just do an extraordinary job, very thoughtful how they do this work. So again, what I want to do is, I guess I need to move the slides here a little bit. What do you think? But as I said, just wanted to give you that. This is the high level in terms of really giving you that, really how we got here is really looking at a strategy doing that particular. They had to have where you had community people that they know in the community come to those communities. And that's what these ladies and gentlemen do every day. And so that was how we got started on this. One of the other things, and I will just put this in here, is, community-based approach to reducing gun violence, targeting those folks who are at risk. These ladies and gentlemen every day have some interaction with someone in those communities. Oftentimes, it may be mediating a dispute of some sort. I remember when I first saw you guys on site when you started in May of 2024, that same day when you started in Young's Terrace, there was a dispute in Calvert Square, a domestic dispute. These folks happen to know the parties. And matter of fact, the police asked them, hey, do you know these folks? They went there, mediated those things. They do this every day. They're in those public spaces, making sure that and every day they're actually engaging them, talking to folks, what resources do you need? We've actually let them, they have met a lot of folks that do this work, Real-Time Crime Center folks, looking at the folks in terms of the human services, all of those services, CSB, anything that they can be of help to that community, that's what they do. And so again, just wanted to let you know it's a different. Law enforcement is one thing. These are not law enforcement. But what we do is we actually give them training through Newark Community Street Team, because we want them to be trained and be professional public safety folks. So again, they go to 3 days of training. They have level 1, 2, 3 of training. And what they do is they go through various scenarios. How do you mediate? How do you, calm things in the area? What do you post up when you go to a crime scene? They have all. As a matter of fact, Mr. Page has been to one of those classes and seen them work. And so again, I just wanted to look at the practitioners, what they do. And what we're trying to do is make them and consider them as public safety professionals. That's why we give them the training. And you'll see they mediate conflict between violence before violence occurs. They prevent, anything that's happened through outreach. They know the folks. The first time I went to them, they had I think they had a picnic or something over in Young's Terrace. And I think the lady knew everybody. Hey, I know your grandmother. I know your. So they knew them. So they are known in the community. And we call them, again, they are community violence interrupters. And again, these are the folks that are credible messengers. And one of the things we always say, they say in this field, is LTO. They have the license to operate in those communities. So again, that's what we're getting here when we have these folks. Let me do this one. The next slide, again, just really trying to, doing all of this conversation with the Newark Community Street Team, we said this is the kind of thing that we want to do, and they had 3 sessions with this council and said, okay, how can we put those in place? They told us, we asked them to do a landscape for us, analysis, what are the things we're doing, how we're doing them, how we're doing them right. And so they did that for us, and again, they said, look, this is the model that's been working. They do this training, they do this globally around the country. So again, it has been working around the country. So again, we engaged them, we hired them, asked them to do that assessment for us. They talked to many of you in this room, along with folks out in the community. Hey, what is it you're looking for? And so that's how we got here. And what we did was we said, okay, we're brought in this community. This council said, hey, this is what we want to try to do. Let's change the strategy that we're using. We're going to do this. And so what we did was we put a request for proposal out on the street. We had 4 folks who came back and gave us those, and we selected those. We selected the Rec League. And it's a combination of Rec League and Guns Down. And that's how we're doing this work in the community as well. It's a collaborative effort. There are other community violence intervention folks from other CBOs, or what we call, and they are helping. We have some folks that are actually doing safe passage. Teens with a Purpose does safe passage, and a number of them do that safe passage, even in Calvert Square, to make sure they get from one destination to another very safely. And again, I want to really emphasize about the completion of this training. It is a national certification. They must have it to operate in this city. Again, it's not, and we right now, we probably put about 60 people through that training. We're talking about faith community. All of those folks have been through that training, so they understand at least what you do and how you de-escalate. And really, what we wanted to do is make sure you gotta measure things here, and what we know about the impact that they've had just for this year that they've been on the ground. Again, and the way we structured this, we said, look, this is going to be something that we see how it's going to work. It's one of the things that we stand up and say, okay, this is how do we see if this is going to work and make sure it works. But again, you can just see by the numbers, 630 folks that they've documented engagement. This is across 10 neighborhoods. I want to make a note that, as you know, and I'm not telling you anything different that you don't know, crime has no boundary, no neighborhood. It just doesn't. And so, again, what these folks do is we also make an effort to make sure that they can be anywhere in this city. They've had those 15 high-risk conflict de-escalation. And again, they can get in there. They know the protocol. They know how to do it. They've been trained to do it. They do it on a daily basis. They actually go to schools. As a matter of fact, PB Young School, they're there. They were there a lot, making sure the kids can get home and make sure they're safe in those neighborhoods. And then again, they're just trusted, value, and visible people in those spaces. One of the things we did is, again, we are one of these folks, and the chief has taught me this again. What you measure gets done. And so again, what we look at is we always look at the data. We had this one area that we were looking at in terms of young terrorists, and that was what we said, this is going to be our model, how we're doing it. They've done a wonderful job in that by the numbers you just saw on the previous slide. So what we did was we said, okay, working with the chief and his staff, we said there are 5 additional neighborhoods that we can do this in. That the numbers tell us we should be doing this in. And so what we did is we expanded recently this year to 5 of those hotspots: Calvert Square, Diggstown, Oak Leaf, Huntersville, Norview. We had 9 of these folks when we started. We've bumped that number up in terms of credible messages to 41 folks that are doing this work on the ground. I want to make note here that even though you see those 5 areas that we've put on the table in terms of added, we can deploy, it's in their contract, anywhere in this city. These folks will go based on a conversation with myself or the chief and the city manager. You say, hey, there's an incident here, would you go here? As a matter of fact, there was an incident, I think I called you, Clay, and said, hey, could you go there? And he was willing to go, and fortunately enough, he didn't have to go. But again, they can be used anywhere in this city or can be deployed anywhere in this city based on a phone call. And again, they know how to mitigate, they know how to calm things down when they get there. Just a matter of fact, I am finished. My goodness. Yes, sir.
Well done. You're a great advocate. I wasn't convinced. I'm convinced now that this is a worthy program and should continue to receive funding. I know that's what you were getting at. Yes, James.
And to say that, and I appreciate that, but this
I think that's more questions, but thank you.
This council has to take credit for doing this.
Well, you can't take any credit. I mean,
I'm talking about
they deserve the
supporting
credit.
it.
Yes, but they deserve the credit.
Yes, sir.
And you gave it to them and it's well-deserved. So
Any questions for me?
thank you for what you do. Sorry, go ahead.
Just going back, I saw that you put on the slide that you're in schools, and you specifically mentioned PB Young. Just as an educator for all these years, what I've seen as kids get older, adults want to spend less time with them.
Okay.
And trying to get people to volunteer at high schools and even middle schools and mentoring youth is very difficult to do. Everybody wants to be with the babies and read books to them and go on field trips and do stuff with them. But when you look at violence and with teenagers that's happening all across the country, and this invincibility that they think that they're not going to do harm in a fight or something like that, but then there's consequences sometimes that happen across the country. Hasn't happened here, where there's been just a fight in a school and somebody's passed away because they knocked them down, they hit their head.
Sure.
I'm just wondering how we can continue to expand this into Norfolk Public Schools and getting folks to be mentors and working with our youth. Maybe JP, you've seen this around the rec centers at Norview and the fighting that has happened with middle school kids fighting high school kids. And that sometimes then goes back into the communities, and there's continued fights, and then sometimes weapons get involved. And there's a lot of great work that's being done. I don't want to add more to the plate, but you know that I see this daily, and it would be great to figure out a way to work with Norfolk Public Schools on providing training to administrators.
Yes, sir.
And maybe speaking with Captain Hughes, head of security, about training for security officers
Yes, sir.
as well. I
Yes,
don't
sir.
think that that's been done. And I'm not trying to overstep, but just asking to reach out to the school system and seeing how we can start bringing some of the success that's been working in the communities in the schools. And sometimes our kids, they tend to know things before they happen. The snitching, consequences of snitching, I've seen less and less of that if there's a lot of trust that is built with the people. They're willing to share information before it happens if they trust that that person's going to protect them and the confidentiality of it. But I just want to, JP and I, we've talked about this before with young kids and trying to figure out ways that we can get more people involved in not just I love the babies. I love speaking to them too. But sometimes it's like herding cats. They don't pay attention as much. And you get 5 minutes with them. But teenagers really will listen to you, and they love the programs if you can get them in there and being involved. So.
So I'm going to move quickly because we have 2 more items and it says an hour. So very quickly, can you do it quickly?
First, I just wanted to thank you and elaborate on what you're saying. Reckley has a mentoring division, but he has a group of young men that he's been following for time, so he probably already has a template that we would need. We would just have to provide probably some funding and some more bodies to help him with that aspect of it. So I think it happened. Just want to commend you for what you do. It looks real good when I'm riding around and walk forward, and I see community first throughout the communities where we need you. Thank you.
Very well. Anyone else?
Chief, I think you're doing some of that with crime as well, doing some of those things as well.
Any other questions for Mr. Rogers?
Yes, sir. Sergeant.
Funded, Mr. Rogers.
Yes, sir. Mr. John has a planning update.
Thank you, guys. Hey, Clay, take care. Take care, guys. Take care. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of City Council. I have 4 items to review with you, as well as a comprehensive plan update. One item was a text amendment that you'll hear after your break. And 3 of these items are short-term rentals that you'll hear next week at your public hearing. None of these items are on this week's agenda. The first item is a proposed text amendment that staff has received from a private citizen to amend the zoning ordinance to modify standards related to automobile sales and repair, maintenance, minor, and automobile repair, maintenance, major, as well as automobile sales. The request was made to consider changing the regulations for when someone can request a conditional use permit for any of these uses, depending on what the type of vehicles they're selling. Most importantly, the request was specifically focused on motorcycles and similar vehicles, and doesn't need to have the same standards as the other shops. In 2014, planning staff did a deep dive and an amendment to the plan for 2030, the current comprehensive plan, to support enhanced development standards for automobile sales and auto repair establishments. The zoning ordinance was amended to address that, and among part of that was to add requirements to say that you cannot apply for a conditional use permit related to automobile uses unless the site is 20,000 square feet and has a minimum lot feet of 100 feet. The request that we have, again, is specifically related to motorcycle repair or similar vehicles, and the proposed amendment by the private citizen was to lower the requirement for those type of vehicles. So the Planning Commission has recommended by a 7-0 vote to amend the zoning ordinance to allow for someone to request a conditional use permit for an establishment, you can see here, that exclusively repairs motorcycles, motor-driven cycles, mopeds, or autocycles, as defined by the Code of Virginia, with lots up to 5,000 square feet and 50 feet in lot width. That doesn't mean that each site is appropriate. It just gives them the opportunity to ask for the conditional use permit. More than likely, because of these type of smaller vehicles, they're able to store those vehicles inside the building, as well as have an opportunity to mitigate their impacts separately than the standard automobile repair and sales. Planning Commission does recommend on a 7-0 vote this proposed text amendment to the zoning ordinance. Again, it only gives them the opportunity to ask for the conditional use permit. It doesn't change anything else. It'll still have to go through the process.
Motorcyclists, autocycles, whatever you want to call them, creating chaos and mayhem on our streets. Is there ATVs? Some are coming from out of the city, some are from within the city. Is there any way that we can tie something to this where owners of these establishments have to identify people that can bring their vehicles in for repair or update or whatever it is, and there's some tie to them where they cannot behave poorly? And I'm being really nice because I'm on camera, but you get my point. So how is it we can make it clear to these people who operate this kind of business and work on those vehicles that are causing chaos, if they cannot work on vehicles that are going to do that in our city?
It's probably more a legal question.
I hear you.
Bernard?
But is there a way we can do something here?
I understand the question, but I don't have an answer off of the top of my head. I think the question is whether we can require these sales and service entities to give us information regarding who is illegally operating a vehicle. Let us get back to you. It's not clear to me how to.
But at a minimum, could we, if they do apply for that, create an information pamphlet that they give to patrons who come and they're working on how that's illegal
And
to
if
do that?
their
I'm just saying,
vehicles
there's an
can be
educational piece.
sounded-
Yeah. That we can now confiscate those if you're caught.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
CUP process, the requirement of the dissemination of that information is a defensible condition. We definitely could require that in a CUP.
I don't think that this particular business would fit the scope of that, but you don't know. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not stepping out of bounds by speaking on their behalf, that they would be more than glad to help us in that area if those type of cycles were to come. Their deal is a family-owned building that the grandfather had, and he used to do upholstery for vehicles and motorcycles, and he's doing more so motorcycles now and repair. So I think it's more of a classic bike. But I think they'd be great partners, and they would adhere, they would help us, be more than glad.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. And Ms. Johnson then Bobby.
I just wanted to also, Bobby, not just with the motorcycles, mopeds and all that, but auto repair in general. Do we have something in place where we can educate citizens that you cannot start a automotive business at your home? We spend a lot of money to repair our street. And not only environmentally, the concern as far as the environment is, but the amount of materials that are left on our street that indicates that there is auto repair within the community. Do we have educational type literature that we can, or a promotion to let citizens know that it is against our ordinance for them to repair cars on our street, including environmentally concerns dealing with auto repair?
We do not currently have something to that nature that my team provides. Unfortunately, what we do is we get the complaint and we'll go and we'll inspect the site and let them know person to person that they're not permitted to do that. So we'll look into seeing if there's a brochure or a pamphlet that we can have in that. Yes, sir. The next two items are short-term rentals that are located on Edward Street, 3 houses down from each other. The first item is 6239 Edward Street. They're requesting a short-term rental for a 3-bedroom, single-family home at this location. Here's the residence. This is the neighborhood analysis with the location map of short-term rentals in the immediate vicinity. Other than the one that is applied, that is not shown on this map, there are no other short-term rentals located in the immediate vicinity. The City Planning Commission did recommend by a 7-0 vote approval of the short-term rental. There is a proposed 2-year expiration condition. There is no active civic league in this area, and the applicant has noted that their relative resides next door. The applicant held a self-hosted meeting and received 2 letters of support from the immediate adjacent neighbors. Normally we would not show this, but I am showing it because of the next item, which is at 6227 Edward Street. They are in the same vicinity. I didn't want to share one and not the other one. Again, this is a short-term rental by Sam Omaki for a 2-bedroom, single-family home, and he was requesting it to be a vacation rental. Council may be familiar with the site from previous application. In January, the council saw this item and voted to deny this short-term rental in January of this year. There is no limitation on their ability to request another short-term rental. They just applied back through the process.
We do have a general moratorium on CUP applications.
CUPs, I thought it was rezonings only.
CUPs also, let me check.
Okay, I believe it's the rezonings are not allowed to, but we'll double check. But
Bobby, has anything changed since the denial?
the applicant has received a petition of support from the neighbors, the immediately adjacent neighbors. That is the one thing that has changed. He's done additional public outreach. But again, as you can see, there's a limited number of short-term rentals in this immediate area. Again, this applicant was denied an application in January 2025. They did perform additional public outreach. And there is in this packet, there is signatures from, I believe, 5 additional neighbors that they have support from. The next item is another short-term rental at 429 Fauquier Street. It's zoned SFT, and the applicant's requesting a 3-bedroom, single-family home as a vacation rental. Here's the existing residence and the neighborhood analysis. There are no immediate short-term rentals in this area within 500 feet. By a vote of 6-1, the Planning Commission recommends approval. I bring this to your attention because there is a letter of opposition from the Beacon Light Berkeley Civic League noting that they don't believe that STR is in line with their community vision and concerns with noise safety environment and issues with by right short-term rentals nearby. There was a short-term rental nearby that did have a violation that staff handled over in the last year, and is no longer in violation just for the council's understanding.
You have anywhere known where Ms. Tatum lives?
She does
She's a
not.
resident of the state of Virginia.
She lives. She did state it in the Planning Commission public hearing. It is not in the area. She is requesting a vacation rental, which means this is not her primary residence.
Parking?
There is on-site parking for this.
Yep. Used to be fenced in years ago.
There's no city ordinance about if you have one of those libraries, the little book centers, that you can't have a short-term rental. I mean, I think it's kind of a conflict of interest. Mr. Pisco?
I heard your, but the libraries, they should be, if they're on city property, approved by encroachment.
Okay.
If they're not approved by encroachment, then they're not placed there legally.
Just a reminder to everybody too, that when we deny these short-term rentals, it doesn't mean that they don't operate them as short-term rentals, especially if they already have support from the neighbors who may not tell on them on that. And also, if they're not living in them, and they're going to end up renting them out as long-term rentals, and sometimes long-term rentals are not better than short-term rentals. Long-term tenants sometimes don't treat the property the same way. So, and you don't have somebody looking at it all the time. But my question is going back to the Planning Commission, and we're getting a lot of 7-0 votes and 6-1 votes on these of approval. But then when they're coming to us, they're getting killed. And so I don't know if there's a disconnect with Planning Commission and how maybe we need to, if the vision is to not have short-term rentals all over the city, do they know that? And allowing the applicants to not have to pay all these fees to apply when it's just going to get killed. So it seems to be a waste of time for everybody.
I think this last one, I think the Civic League is in opposition of this one. But that is not.
Yeah. Just one last thing, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. For NFK 2050, we're coming to the home stretch of the plan, and we thank the council for your support as we've gone to the public in multiple meetings, as well as in multiple ways to get their input on this, and as we continue to work on the draft plan. Currently now, the draft plan is available and has been available to the public, as well as the council, where we've had also 4 open houses across the city, where we've shared the plan. And also in this moment, we're in our online survey phase where we're trying to wrap up any additional comments that we have on this draft final product that we have. On the website, thanks to Kelly's team in communications, we've had the opportunity to add an additional survey as well as add videos from staff explaining the comprehensive plan and the key pillars and goals of the plan. And so if you to scan the QR code or go to the website, you'll have the opportunity to see and listen to the video. It does, in a very plain language, explain the comprehensive plan and the goals. And so I'm very proud of this outreach that we have. And I will say, I don't know if I should say it out loud, but we are being recognized for that outreach by APA Virginia as well. The last bit of public outreach, not just including the online survey, we also have in-person Dropbox locations where people can go and view the physical plan. I have staff reviewing each location, making sure that all the documents are still available, and they have an opportunity just to be there and to look at it if they need to. We've got these multiple locations across the city, and we believe that this will provide another opportunity for people that have a chance to provide additional input and get it to us. The key goal here is the Planning Commission is going to initiate adoption of the plan. It's going to be on their agenda in August. Barring any issues or any public comment, we hope to bring it to the council in the fall for adoption and to move forward.
I know you're trying to speed through this, but I've already been through the document. It's been very well done. staff and the community and the members did a great job. I'm just curious, the previous plans always had an appendix that had specific targeted neighborhoods, and this one does not. Is that because that's going to come later, or you guys have just scrapped that whole idea of doing targeted sections of the city?
The future land use map, what we want to try to be is, our goal is to have the policies be broad enough in each of the locations on the future land use map that describes the needs of the community. And a lot of the policies that are listed in there says that it's based on community input. And so we understand that the community has a large role in it. We do, in order to try to implement this plan, we do have 3 focus areas that we hope to accomplish by 2050. That is located on the future land use map, where we're going to turn our immediate attention to do long-range planning. But those individual neighborhood items, we've chosen, after bringing that to the public as well as analyzing our current policies, to not pull those forward at this moment. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, Bobby, thank you very much. Mr. Bull.
I move that the members of the council assemble informally in a closed meeting on July 8, 2025 at 5:24 p.m. in Central Conference Room, the City Hall building in the city of Norfolk for the purposes which are set out in Clause 3 of subsection A of Section 2.2-3711 of the Freedom of Information. Clause 3 is discussion of disposition of publicly held real property in the Ocean View area of Ward 5. Mrs. Doyle.
Aye.
Ms. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. McGee.
Aye.
Mr. Page.
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel. Mr. Thomas.
Aye.
Dr. Alexander. We're in.